This upgrading will be gone in Season 4. Just merely putting some levels on a weapon to improve the stats, not happening. What we're getting instead is called Tempering and Masterworking, where Tempering is step 1 and Masterworking is taking an item even further. One important thing you need to know is that in Season 4, Ancestral Legendaries only have 3 affixes. Every affix is more meaningful though. Where an item currently has 23 all stats, it will have 60 all stats. Where it's 20% vulnerable damage, it will automatically have 40% vulnerable damage. So only 3 affixes, but all affixes are beefed up. Now with Tempering, we can add 2 more affixes to an item, making it a grand total of 5. And these affixes can be generic or something really amazing for your build. Let's have an eye on these 2 tempering manuals. The manuals you find wherever in the world. There's no target farming them, and then you just unlock this specific recipe and have it forever for this season. This is the manual of bone augments. That could give you chance for bone splinters projectiles to cast twice, chance for bone spear projectiles to cast twice, bone spirit explosion side, or bone storm duration. And then the natural motion is a more generic one for movement speed after killing an elite, mobility cooldown, and evade cooldown reduction. Now, one important thing to know about tempering is that when you apply a tempering manual to an item, it is random which one of these 4 you get. The good thing is every item has a tempered durability. In the example, it was shown to be 5. Maybe that's higher later on, up to 10, 20 maybe. And this tempered durability, 1 is being used up when you temper. That means that you can temper a total of 5 times to multiple times apply the bone augments to then get exactly the one of the 4 that you're looking for. Now, tempering is essentially step 1, the thing you do on every single item. You get something cool, you put 2 tempered affixes on it, and then do that for every new subsequent good item you're finding. There's also step number 2, and that is masterworking. Masterworking works somewhat like the old upgrade, where we had 5 upgrades happening to boost all stats. You can masterwork 12 times, and every 4 upgrades, every 4 ranks, there's going to be a huge boost to an affix. They showed this off really good in the live stream. You have a rank 2, then your maximum life goes slightly higher. Then you have a rank 3, your maximum life goes slightly higher again. Your vulnerable damage goes slightly higher. Your critical strike chance goes slightly higher. So every stat goes slightly higher. And then on the 4th rank upgrade, correct? Then suddenly 1 affix, and that's going to be random, gets a super boost. And you can upgrade 12 times. And a very important part here is that the actual tempered affixes you put on, they can get masterwork too. So if you upgrade the items 4 times, suddenly you can have an even higher bone critical strike damage or better cooldown reduction happening. And interestingly enough, this process here can be reset and redone. You will lose all the materials, so you can upgrade this 12 times, and then you're like, I am not happy with what I got. Then you reset it and do it again. You can't do that with tempering because you have your tempering durability. If tempering durability is done, it's done. But for masterworking, you can just reset it, and if you have enough materials, redo it. So you gamble to get the perfect item. This is, for example, how a fully tempered masterworked item would look. It begins with 83 int, 23% damage, and 38% vulnerable damage. Now it has 141 intelligence that got masterworked once from the 4 ranks. That's why it's blue. And then you have 44.9% damage plus. That got masterworked twice on rank 8 and 12. That's why it's yellow. And then the vulnerable damage also through the masterworking 12 times went from 38% to 55%. On top, they have the bone spirit damage and the chance for bone splinters to cast twice tempered onto the item. And this is kind of like how a pinnacle item would look like, really made for your build, really, you know, a whole item journey to have something perfect fitting for you. Now, the only limitation you have with masterworking is your masterworking materials. For tempering, you don't need any special materials. You just need to have the tempering manuals. For masterworking, you need to have the masterworking materials. And these materials are dropping in the new rifts, the Artificer's Pit. You have to beat a tier 45 nightmare dungeon that is level 100 monsters. And then you're ready for the first level of the pit. In that pit, you essentially play the Abattoir Vizier as you're pushing through the dungeon on a timer. You kill the boss, and if you manage to do it in time, you'll get a mastery bonus. And at the end, you'll have materials dropping to masterwork, plus Stygian Stones. Stygian Stones is another endgame mechanic where you can summon tormented versions of Varshan, Grigor, and whatsoever, where they're level 200 and ultra super hard. Now, this means for your item journey, in order to really get them fully masterworked and roll them around, you'll have to push deeper into the pit to get maximum amount of materials, because we have 3 levels of masterwork materials. There is the legendary ones, there is the blue ones, and there's the yellow ones. And after you masterworked and tempered an item, there's still the final step you can do, and that is actually re-rolling affixes. But you gotta be careful with re-rolling affixes in Season 4. At the Occultist, as you can do right now, you can still choose one affix and keep re-rolling it of the 3 standard ones your item has. But there's something called greater affixes. Greater affixes are random drops, and they'll be shown by these red crystals in front of the affixes. For example, if you have the dagger in normal, it would be 74 dexterity or 84 max. But if it drops as a greater affix, it's 126 dexterity. The same goes for critical strike damage. Normally it would be 50 critical strike damage max, but if it drops as a greater affix, it could go up to 75%. If you now re-roll this though, you can re-roll this, the critical strike damage, but then it won't be a greater affix anymore. So you cannot re-roll one greater affix into another. You could still re-roll it away if you absolutely don't need it, but then it's only going to be a normal affix, and you can't by chance hit a greater affix, which then means in total, we want a 925 item that preferable has 1 or 2 greater affixes that we can then temper and afterwards masterwork. And the best part again is if the masterworking fails and you're not getting these skills upgraded that you want to get upgraded, then you'll just do it again and reset it. That's my real favorite part about this crafting system, the option to redo it. Same goes for tempering. I mean, as long as you have temper durability left, you can keep tempering. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the new crafting system? And yes, the uber unique crafting still stays. And the new bosses from the pit that I talked about, the tormented bosses, they will drop a resplendent spark. Yes, straight away, the first time you kill each of them. So you can get 4 or 5 sparks extremely easy. Now, if you want to see the whole Campfire Chat live react, here's the video, and there's way more to come on all the new things, endgame, and so on.